Blackout 650 Gaming here, and welcome to the Stanley Parable. Now, I didn't actually mean to start loading the game. I accidentally hit the enter key on the number pad on my keyboard, but whatever, it works. There wasn't a whole lot to see on the wasn't a whole lot to see on the main menu. Sorry, I forgot to turn my desk fan on. It's let's see, it's about 91 degrees outside, so yeah. Fortunately, here in my basement, it's a much more tolerable temperature, but
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
427.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard.
Buttons.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk,
Monitor.
telling him what buttons to push,
Push.
how long to push them,
I'll stop.
and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Or was he?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright, so clearly that's the intro to the game, but I actually do know a bunch of Easter eggs to this game. Okay. So this is
All
going to be...
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What does
Stanley
it all
decided to
mean,
go to the
Basil?
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Anyway, so yeah, this is going to be a multi-episode thing.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yes, I'm probably just going to do the normal ending in this one. Depends on how long that'll take. I know what I'm doing, I swear. There's actually a purpose to this. I don't 100% remember what it was, but it's there. Just gonna follow the instructions the first time around.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I do want to show you one thing, though.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let it ball up inside you, take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers, and resent coworkers for not supporting you more, and then nice loop. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header, and throw some bevel on all the text. This will everyone is unique. You most of all. Moving on. Alright, ready? Ready for this?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
This will take a little bit, but it's worth it.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow,
Yep.
just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Just gonna be here doing something.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything.
Shit.
At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Fuck all.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why?
Because
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
I can.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Gets better. Just wait.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Excellent. How do you become addicted to hookers?
I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
True.
Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
We'll leave now. There's more to that, but...
Second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee, coming to a staircase,
Whoops.
Stanley walked
Sorry.
upstairs to his boss's office.
Anyway, so that's just one of the little extra things you can do. Let me just, Oh, I can't do that yet? Okay. There's an elevator in here. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
There's another bit here,
Incredibly, by
but
simply pushing random
yeah,
buttons on the keypad,
takes a while
Stanley
too.
happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Anyway, yep. This part I always found creepy to me, for some reason. Why ever would this seem creepy, alright? And this is running off the same engine as Half-Life 2, so... Loading screens. At least I'm pretty sure it's the same general engine. So we got the new Samsung S8 Plus. It's pretty neat.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was
Peculiar.
a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Or would it?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
There's another thing here.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
There's another ending if you go all the way to the
behind him
end.
was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Oh, really? You're wrong. Wrong you are. We'll do that another time. Unless I have... No, I probably won't have time after this. This part's kind of slow. Yeah, I've played this game a ton of times, so...
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Does he, though? Button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I think I'll show you the one trick that's in here. If I can remember how to do it.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced.
Gotta
to
find number
images
427.
And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Wait for it. Any second now. There we go. 427, right there. Underneath 426 and above 428. Shocking. Ta-da! Moving on. Oh, don't fall to my death. I don't think you can, but... Yeah, who's employee number 1? Right up there. Oh, helpful. Okay. Alright.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Yep. Alright, so now we kind of have to wait a bit. This might end up cut out, I don't know. See if I can remember what button it is. I think you have to go over here. It's been a while since I've played this, but... Ready? Yep. Never give up on your dreams. High resolution secret texture. Happy secret to you, super secret bros. Secrets all the way. Secrets for President 2016. Disco secrets. Once you go secret. William hides the best secrets. There is no turning back. Don't touch the secrets. You never go bacrit. Secrets. Go secret rangers.
No.
Never grip up on your secrets.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
Told you it was worth it.
It was unthinkable, wasn't it?
It was
even
without
possible?
think.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yes.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Or would it?
He would dismantle the controls once and for all.
That's a big screen. I should get one of them. But can it play Minecraft? Spadoosh. And the world explodes. Not really.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
No.
Yes.
No.
He had won.
No.
He had defeated the machine.
No.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had
Hint,
his
hint.
co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For
Yes, it
it was
does.
not knowledge or even power that
Knowledge.
he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
He's got such a great voice. Well, that's the end of that then. So in the next episode, we'll screw around with some of the stuff. That it might only end up being 2 episodes. You know, this one and then one where we do a bunch of the Easter eggs. But yeah, it just starts back here.
All of his
You know,
co-workers
actually, I can
were
show you one thing
What could
real
it be?
quick.
Stanley decided to go
See
to
if I
the
can
meeting.
remember how to do it.
Perhaps he had simply missed a
How
moment.
do you do it?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I don't remember how to do this. Got it.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
No, I didn't.
Now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how
You
to
can
say
do
this
that for a while,
politely,
but
you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function.
damn.
Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
All right, I'm kind of tired of that now. All right, so that's the first little bit there of the Stanley Parable. Got to see a couple of the Easter eggs, like 3 actually, but whatever. So yeah, If you do want to see the, never mind. I'll do it anyway. Don't worry about it. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, this game is on Steam. They came out with another thing that follows the same general thing, but it's actually got like a bunch of puzzles in it. I don't think I'll play it. I think I'll probably just stick with the original Stanley Parable. Actually, this isn't even the original. It started out as like a little mod sort of thing that came from Gary's mod, I believe. Like it was derived from it, essentially. But then it became its own little thing on Steam. It actually follows a slightly different plot line, but this has a ton of endings. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't, don't leave a like. And I'll see you in the next video.